Hey everyone, Mr. A here. Hope everyone's doing spectacular today. In today's video, we are going to be talking about variables. So, let's go ahead and jump right to it. In order to get access to our variables, we will be going and clicking on variables, and we have our variable blocks here. But we've yet to create our own variable, so let's go ahead and create one. But before we jump into that, let me quickly explain what a variable is. A variable is simply a value holder slash placeholder. I can have my variable be any number I would like it to be. Remember, anytime we start a new line of code, we're going to go ahead and go to the events block. And in this case, I'm going to go have when space key is pressed. So I am going to make a variable and just call it time for now. So now that I've created my variable time, I'm going ahead and drag the set my variable to 0. And on the drop down menu, go ahead and select on time because that is the variable that I created. Now, as I mentioned earlier, variables are just value holder slash placeholder. So at the moment, the value that my variable is 0. We are setting time to 0. So what I want to showcase is just my sprite saying what my variable is at the time. So if I go to looks and grab the say hello for 2 seconds and I go back to variables, I want my sprite to say my time variable. So now when I go ahead and select space, it says 0 because that's what our variable is. So if I set my time variable to 10 and I go ahead and run my code, my sprite says 10, right? So that's just showing you how a variable is pretty much a value holder slash placeholder. So let's go ahead and start creating even more complex programs with our variable time. Now, let's go ahead and actually create time for our project. If we take a look at our coding blocks, there are no coding blocks for actual time. The first thing we're going to be doing is we're going to be setting time to 0 because time starts at 0. So when we set time, we're going to set it to 0. And in order to actually create time, we're going to be using a forever block, wait 1 second, and then change time by 1. Now when I go ahead and press my space key, time starts at 0. We wait a second and time changes by 1. So now we actually have a time on our program, which is pretty awesome. So let's go ahead and practice a little more with our variables. So I'm going to go ahead and create a new variable and I'm going to call it timer. For the timer, what our timer is going to be doing is going to be starting at a certain number and counting down to 0, just like a regular timer that you probably have at home. Now I'm going to be setting my timer to, let's go with something pretty small, 10. And we're going to have our timer count down to 0, and when our timer counts down to 0, our sprite will say time. So how does that look? Let's go ahead and program that. We're going to go back to control, go ahead and grab the forever block. Once again, wait 1 second, but we're going to change timer by -1 since we are counting down instead of 1. And when we have a new line of code, remember, always need that events block. And forever, if my variable is equal, my variable timer is equal to 0, then we will have our sprite say time. Now let's go ahead and run it and see how that looks. We see timer starts at 10 and it's counting down by 1, which we told it to do. And when it hits 0, boom, our sprite says time. So that's a quick introduction to variables and showcasing how we can use variables. That's it for this video, so I will see y'all in the next video.